I discovered that detaching isn't just about letting go. It is about what you do in the silence that follows. Hey guys, so many of you resonated with my video, Focus on Yourself and Detach and Silence. But you also asked me what happens when you are in that silence. How do you stay strong when everything in you wants to break? Here is what nobody tells you about detachment. The hardest part isn't the letting go, but the hardest part is staying gone. Because when you truly detach, when you truly step back from the chaos, that is when everything tries to pull you back in. And I kept facing disappointment after disappointment. At some point, I had to see what was going on. I had to accept it. This isn't random. This is a message from God, from the universe, written in a language I just didn't want to read. My breaking point came when I prayed. I said, God, I know this isn't it. I feel it in my intuition, but I know that I keep ignoring it. Show me if this isn't really for me. Show me in a way that I cannot deny, I cannot ignore. And he did. But that moment taught me that sometimes detachment isn't a choice you make. Sometimes it's a choice that gets made for you. Maybe you have had that moment to where life forces you to detach whether you are ready or not. Okay? So let me explain how it felt for me to be forced into detachment. For me, it was painful. I felt empty. I felt lost, abandoned. But in that moment, I decided to go home, to start over again, to practice real detachment just by focusing on myself, instead of focusing what was happening to me. And I knew that God would unforce me to detach if it was for my highest good. Even though it hurt like hell, I trusted that's my superpower, to trust no matter what. So here is what happens when you truly start detaching. The phone calls come because some people just love the chase more than they love your peace. Unfortunately, this was for me the real test of detachment. Even though I wanted to give in because someone was wanting me and it felt like putting a band-aid on my wound of being abandoned, I chose to stay detached. I chose silence. And that is when I realized real detachment is choosing your peace even when it breaks your own heart. And maybe you've been tested like this too, right? Where you had to choose between your peace and your pain. And there's a space in the middle, and that is silence. And this is what I learned in the silence. So your trauma response will try to convince you that someone is reading out means you should re-engage. But that is not your intuition talking. That is just your wound wanting to be healed by the same energy that caused the pain. So real detachment is knowing the difference between someone who respects your boundaries and someone who just do want to lose control over you. There is a difference. So fast forward, time passed in silence. I focused on me, but there was still a part of me that wanted to believe that things could change. But detaching taught me to love myself more and more. And I started to ask myself, what am I really hoping for? And I realized that hope without evidence is just still attachment in disguise. And that is when I saw it really clearly. You can forgive someone and still stay detached. You can love someone and still choose your peace. I believe in a world of end and end instead of either or. So I stayed in my silence and I focused on my growth. Many people confuse detachment with punishment, but real detachment is an act of self-love, and this is what really hit me. You cannot truly detach until you love yourself enough to protect your peace. Because if you're trying to detach from a place of, I am not good enough, or I have to do this in order to hurt the other, that is not detachment. That is just running away or still responding from trauma. Real detachment is where you decide, I am already enough. I choose me, and I love myself so deeply to really say, I'm ready to close this chapter, and I'm willing to open and write a new one. And I do this for me because I know that I deserve way more than my last chapter. And if you remember, I said in the previous video, focus on yourself and detach in silence. That I made myself a promise I will always keep. And that is never ever again will I lose myself over what happens in my reality. And that's the best way to describe what detachment is for me. My job is to love me. My job is to heal me. My job is to stand behind me. Detachment is an act of self-love. But let's get real. Staying detached isn't easy. Your mind will keep pulling you back. Flashbacks, memories all day long. For me, it was a trauma. And sometimes it comes back up. But I believe in art, and I always remind myself this isn't truth. This is just my brain wanting closure from the outside instead of creating that from within. Instead of asking the closure from my outer reality, I detached and gave myself the closure I needed. What is it that you need from within? Give it to yourself. That is real detachment, giving yourself what you used to beg others to give you. Thanks to life, thanks to the experiences I had, I made the shift within myself, realizing, hey, I'm looking for love outside of me. But in that moment of being left behind by surrendering to what God had for me, the most precious thing I ever felt is that I am love myself. So I really don't have to look outside of me. It is all within me. So how beautiful, right? That it showed that love was actually never missing. But the right people, the right things could only reflect that back to me, and not the wrong ones. And when you realize you are love, you stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop proving. So even though I'm sharing this with a really high energy, I want to be real. I didn't find this peace after I detached. I found it while I was learning to detach, when I was confused, when I was hurt, when nothing made any sense. That is why I always say the gold is in the storm. And sometimes detachment is the storm. So if you're struggling to stay detached right now, if every part of you wants to re-engage, if the silence feels unbearable, that is where magic happens. That is where you will find your power. For me, staying detached, even though it was hard, was finding new ways to process through speaking to myself, through journaling, through praying. Old patterns came up, but I learned they are not true. They are just invitations to abandon your detachment. So instead of letting my brain drag me back to old connections, I gave me back the connection with myself. And that is what real detachment is. It's not about becoming cold. It is about becoming whole. And here is what changes when you really master this. Your whole energy shifts. You stop being reactive. You stop being anxious about others' choices. You stop second-guessing your boundaries. You become someone who knows their worth and protects their peace, and people will feel that. The right people will respect this, but the wrong people are threatened by it. So if you're struggling to stay detached, still letting people disturb your peace, still breaking your own boundaries, I hope with this video you will make that shift to finally choose your peace and know your worth, and that you deserve to detach for you too. Choose silence over chaos and to focus on yourself without explaining why. And when you do, I promise, when you make that decision, everything changes. So I hope this video resonates. Like, subscribe, or share this video with someone who needs to hear this. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.